Hey guys, this is Chris from Speed Graphics. I've had a number of you actually write in regarding how it is that I make some of the tones that I do for a lot of my songs. I do use make myself a lot of drones and a lot of loops and different things like that in order to find the sound that it is that I'm looking for. But I know that some of you had wanted to just, see some of the gear that it is that I'm using. So I'd be more than happy to show that to you right now. Please know that this is a very small sample of the different things that I use. There's just some certain things that are pretty crucial to, getting a really nice ambient kind of sound, or if you want to go a little more aggressive, like in some of the songs that I've done, where they're fuzzed out. I absolutely love fuzz pedals. So fuzz pedals are very crucial in that instance as well. They make great drones. They just make for some great sounds, all in general. So I'll just show you a couple things that I do use. Just some of the stuff that I have hooked up right now for something that I'm working on.
There we go. So first things first, yes, I actually do use GarageBand. I do have the latest version, which is amazing. There are a lot of different types of effects actually built in that you can use, and amp modeling, which is very nice. I know some people may point their noses up at GarageBand, but I really like it. I really like using it. And for my interface, I do use an Apogee Duet, which has some great, digital analog digital converters in there. It's super, super easy to use. I mean, you just basically kind of just plug that USB up and it's good to go. If there's a little piece of software you have to download called Maestro that helps you assign the different inputs, whether or not that they are like a guitar, like a direct maybe instrument, or if you're going to be using that to record with a microphone. And actually, while we're on the subject of that, right here is one of the main mics that I use. Right here, we got the Sennheiser E906. I use this sucker like crazy. A lot of you may have seen this. A lot of people do use these for live performances. Basically, just you can dangle the mic right over wherever the speaker is. You kind of want to be a little off center towards the middle and whatnot, not to get that too trebly sound. But I mean, you can adjust everything basically through GarageBand. But this is one of the main mics that I use. Not expensive, like not super expensive, not super cheap, but I mean, still, it's awesome. I love it. Let's see. Oh, here's a funny little thing. So I bought this so that I could actually plug my phone into my Duet and use instruments that I had downloaded from the App Store. So I actually have a couple different pianos, Rhodes, some drum pads that I can create loops with. I mean, you name it. Oh, I have Mellotron, which is awesome. I mean, it's one of the best things that I got. I did have to pay a couple bucks for it, but it's definitely worth the money. So I plug this into the Apogee, plug it into my phone, and then just play along with the song, or I'll create some sort of a loop with that. And now I guess let's take a shot at some of the gear. A lot of you are probably wondering what the hell this pedal is. This is actually a clone of the Roland Jet Phaser AP7, which I actually have a real one, but they're so old, they're huge, they're very heavy, they take 2 batteries, but they're an awesome phaser. Like, you can get some really, really cool sounds out of that. The most famous use, I believe, of this pedal was that, who's that lady? You would hear that in there, but it's got this really cool jet phase sound to it with a fuzz built in. I think Billy Corgan actually used one of these a lot. There's one song on Pisces Iscariot that he uses it on heavily. Right here I have actually the new Digitech, the whammy Ricochet in place of the actual whammy, because the whammy, I mean, it's huge, takes up a lot of room on the pedal board. This can do most of, like, for me, this does the different things that I do want it to do. So I don't need like the big, pedal whammy. I can use this, and that satisfies my needs. This next one might surprise you. This is actually a modern day Big Muff. $79 at the store. Let's see. Oh, over here. Now we're starting to get into some crucial area. This Line 6 DL4 is definitely, quite possibly, one of the best delay pedals, echo pedals, whatever you want to even call it, that there is. It's great. You can record loops. You can record. You got 3 buttons for your favorites. You can record a loop and then hit the first switch down here, and then it'll either you can go reverse or you can slow it down at halftime. Right up above that red and black pedal that you see, that's the Boss 20XL. That's a looper pedal. So I can record different loops in here. And if you see, there are 11 banks in there. The 11th is just a one-shot deal. It doesn't loop. But 1 through 10, you can save and use that for looping. You can use it live as well, which is a lot what I do. You have the auto start button, so that way what it'll do is it'll, if you're waiting to start playing, once you start playing, the pedal will kick in, start to record. And you can, as you can see here, play overdub. You can record and then immediately have it play back, and then just begin to start overdubbing on top of what you've already written. And it has a reverse key as well, which is something that I do use a lot to help create some extra texture within the drone that I create. But I digress. Let me move on over here. This one, see, this is kind of my, I guess you would say, very crucial part of my setup. I usually have the Line 6 going into this pedal, which is called it's the Digitech Hardwire series. This is the Supernatural Ambient Verb, and it's got some awesome reverb on it. It's got the the plate reverb made famous at the 2290, I believe. You have a like a mod mode. You get Shimmer, which is the one that gives you those nice, like, echoey, haunting sounds. It's just got a bunch of really cool reverb. Spring. You got Flurb, which is another one that I use a lot, which is basically a deep reverb with a slight phase to it, so it sounds pretty cool. And let's see. Obviously my tuner. This Vintage Overdrive is one of the ones that I like to use a lot. It's very funny that it's an MXR pedal. However, I do find that this pedal nails some of that vintage, like, warm tube amp crunch. It's very versatile. I use it a lot. I think it's great. It's like really cheap. Won't bust the bank. So if you're looking for a good overdrive, and you want like that, like, warmer, like, tube amp kind of like vintage sound, this one really does do it. It does the trick. Let's see, right here. This was my my crybaby. I got this. I've had this for over 20 years. And what I did is that I had asked the builder to build a custom pedal for me out of this. So he took the guts out, redid it. It's basically kind of like one of the, it's a version kind of the K, that, like, the old K fuzz. I forget exactly what it, I think it's no, it's not the bebop. But it is a version of the K fuzz. And what I did is I had them add here a starve knob, so that I can get, like, that mosquito fuzz tones to, like, all out fuzz, so, like, I can dial in exactly what I want. You'll see here, this is I had another builder build me an op amp muff. I do have 2 vintage op amp muffs, but I don't like to use them live. Again, they're big, and plus they're vintage, so it's really tough to play out with old pedals. But I had them tweak this one a little bit more. I know it's gonna sound cheesy, but I did want to get closer to the, like, Smashing Pumpkins fuzz sound, and so I had them tweak that a little bit so that I could get it
pretty easy, so I do use that one a lot. The other one that I do use a lot is this one right here. This is actually a clone of the green bubble font muff. This one is one of my favorites. It's a little more dirty than a lot of the other ones, so you get a little more grit out of it. I know Dan Auerbach used it a lot in the earlier recordings of the Black Keys stuff, but I don't know, I like it. It's got a lot of dirt to it. So again, another fuzz, but I do have a bubble font. I just, again, it's heavy as hell, takes up a lot of room on the board, and again, it's a vintage pedal. Just hate playing them out. Here's a copy of the Univox Super Fuzz that I had CBC Pedals make me. And this thing is actually pretty much, I'm not going to even say pretty much, this is a dead-on clone of exactly what the Univox Super Fuzz sounds like. Because I have one, an original 1968, and I am so scared to take that thing anywhere that I needed to have a clone, but I needed one that was good because I wanted to get the same tones that I was getting from mine. So I have this one. This one I didn't mark, but it is a copy. This is made by Chicago Stompworks. This is a clone of the DOD 250. So it's a really, really cool overdrive. And again, Chicago Stompworks, they'll sell pedals for $50. So definitely worthwhile checking out. Another one that I had CBC Pedals make me, the Tone Machine. I don't use that one as often unless I want to get maybe some of those like Octavia type tones, because this will really get you some like octave, like haunting octave tones up above the 12th. Down here, this is actually a double pedal from Mahoney Guitars. The buzz tone is a copy of the Jordan buzz tone, and the cow tone, I believe that this one is the Moss Right Fuzz Right. So I use these depending on what song. I'll use one or the other. I rarely use them both, but I can use both of them at the same time since they are in one pedal. So this is definitely another cool one. I don't even know if he's still making pedals, but that's another one that I like to use. Very crucial. Here's the Jimmy Page, Yonzi from Sigur Rós. I do have my my violin bow. So I do bow guitars a bit for drones and different noises and things. At the beginning of the most relentless I've ever been, you would hear this along with the I used the shimmer setting on this fully wet, and that gave me the nice little haunting noise that I had going on. And then this is the amp that I use. This is kind of my pride and joy. This is a Fender Bassman 1968 drip edge, which means that it has the old blackface circuit, the AB 165, and then I got the cabinet, which I loaded with two Celestians. One of them is just one of the regular 12-inch greenbacks, and the other one is a Heritage Series Celestion speaker, which handles a little bit more of the lower end, so I wanted to get a kind of like a nice mix between the two speakers. I do have some of my guitars. My main one that I like to go to is my Fender Jazzmaster, which you can see that I have decorated up a little bit here with some Banksy artwork. But this is one of the main ones that I really do like to use, because the P90s in this thing do give you a really good amount of grit. So they're pretty dirty, and that's kind of what I like. I like it to be a little bit more dirty. So I'll use this one sometimes. Well, not sometimes, most of the time. And there was one very last thing that I did forget to mention that I do love to use, and that would be this. Everybody should know this sucker. This is the Ebo. I do use this a lot as well. So there's another kind of crucial part of my gear. But alright guys, well, thank you very much for taking the time out to watch my video. Again, like I said, I hope you learned some things, and hope to keep on making some good music for you guys. So keep on listening, and I'll keep on making it. Alright everybody, well, have a good night.